Welcome to the Good Divorce Show, where we can help you learn how to navigate the journey of divorce with less conflict, less debt, and equip you not to just get divorced, but also learn how to be divorced. Your host, certified divorce coach Karen McNenny, shares her wealth of knowledge, gets advice from other relationship experts, and interviews couples who learn how to have a good divorce, so you can too. Now here's your host, Karen.
Hello, welcome to Tea Time with Coach Karen. I am Karen McNenny, your good divorce coach, and this is the place to be if you want to learn some strategies and tools and how to better navigate your family as you go through a divorce or separation process. Today, and maybe because it's just on top of my mind, I want to talk about college and college-age kids in the context of divorce and separation. And what is standing out to me as I reflect on this today, one, my own daughter is headed to her second year of college. So I was reflecting last year on what that felt like as a parent of divorce and sending my child off to college. And a lot of the friends around me, of course, all of us have an aching heart as we say goodbye to our kiddos. Well, maybe not all of us. There is a moment when you're like, please go far away, go find yourself. And when you find your nice self, come on back. Not always like that. Nonetheless, I realized that part of my grief goodbye of college happened 13 years ago. I said goodbye to my children in terms of seeing them every day and putting them to bed every night. That went from any night that I could show up and be present to them to 50%. And that was when they were in pre-K and first grade. So through their entire childhood educational years, I already had limited time and exposure with my kids. So as they went off to college, in some ways, there was almost an equilibrium, if you will, with other parents who were experiencing a grief that I had held quite, that I had held with great sadness, quite honestly, at the time that it began, to know that I was only going to be with my kids 50% of the time. And now as we go off to college, it's even less. And maybe in some ways, divorce stretched out that runway so it was not quite as devastating as they went off to college. Another misnomer that I think happens around the idea of these young adult kids, and when we're 18, they're on their own, they can take care of themselves, and how many couples have in the back of their mind, we'll just wait till the kids go to college, then we'll announce our divorce, then we'll proceed with moving out of the house. Well, I like to think of the young adult period as this kind of rubber band, right? Kids are going away, they're finding their independence, they're trying to get as far as they can, but I actually need a co-signature on this loan, and I need a little extra money I'm coming home for Christmas to get, do you have a place for my 10 friends to sleep before they catch their flights home on things, right? It's this in and out, and it's hard to know as a parent how to navigate that. Because of that, it's important that your children know how to navigate their family as they start to enter into their own rubber band life transformation and trying to know where it is that they land. So for families, not always, but it's something to keep in mind, who only either prolonged their marriage until the kids were gone, or really only found the truth of it right about the time kids were leaving for college. All of us who've been divorced or living across two homes prior to college already know the pattern. We know the systems of how our family negotiates life across two homes, where things are kept, how time is divided, how we communicate between homes, how the parents get along, how we show up for special events. We have been well practiced, and we know how to navigate that as we enter into this new space of our children's independence. They still know where to come back and land. For those families that are just entering into this time period and thinking, well, they're independent now, it doesn't really matter what we do. You could not be more wrong. Now, maybe more than ever, children need to know where their home base is at. For instance, I just had a family the parents separated after they went to college. That's just how it worked out. And as Thanksgiving, that first long holiday break, was approaching, they found their son coming to them and asking, do I have a bedroom? Do, where's my stuff? Where do I go when I get home? How do we do Thanksgiving? Like, what does this mean? And it was like layering on this other level of uncertainty and instability on top of what they're already experiencing as a young adult of moving out and trying to find independence and stability. So I really coached with that family and reminded them, there's not a right or wrong way. The only wrong way is the no way. When you don't think about this ahead of time, that you don't take it into consideration as you invite your children back home, even if you've been divorced. This is new territory. There isn't a parenting plan per se, but there should still be a child plan, if you will, support, so they know where they're landing, how it's going to be navigated. And as they get more and more independent, part of what they enjoy is they don't have to be on anyone else's schedule. It's another family I've been working with over the summer months, and it's the first time their child has come home after college, where they've lived lots of independence. And I think any child coming home for the summer and, taking up stakes in the parents' basement might feel a little claustrophobic and a little constrained by their parents' questions. I know it certainly happens in my household. But for that child of divorce, it's also a freedom of, I don't have to manage a schedule anymore with my parents. I don't have to be here on this night and there. I want to bring that independence from college back into my home life. And if they were in one home, then there would be those, day-to-day negotiations. I'm going out, I'm going camping, I'm backpacking, I'm gone, I'm with friends, I'm crashing wherever, right? Exploring all that independence. Whereas as a child of divorce, as they take on those free reins, they might also still be negotiating, do I have to go and have a weekend at mom's house and a weekend over here with dad? And oh, I want to go to the lake. Who do I go to the lake with? Is that on dad's side? Do I have to ask dad if it's fine if I go with mom? So as a family, have a conversation with your child so that you're all in agreement about how the summer is going to be navigated. So the child isn't concerned about, are they taking care of both of their parents and their needs, that the parents don't have some expectation that the parenting plan as it stood pre-college is still going to exist. And there is something to be said in terms of, where will our child be in residence? What house are they sleeping at? Or are they sleeping in some sort of third space? And that's the only thing I would really encourage you and your co-parent and your child to get clear about. So that, as my dad always said, until you have a buddy, Karen, we're your buddy system. We don't know if you're in a ditch or if you're on someone's couch. So we don't care which it is. We just want to know so we don't have to stay up and worry about you. So if you're not coming home, it's now more of a housemate courtesy. You let your housemates know that you got other plans and you're not going to be home. And that there's some shared communication between the households so that the child doesn't feel like they're the one doing the negotiating and the navigating, but that as a family, you can sit down and get clear about how you want the summer to be navigated. The last thing that I'll say about college today is, for those of you who might be listening and have younger children and college seems so far away, I encourage you, as the decisions that you make today are going to have an echo, there's going to be a long shadow into the future of your family that extends through college and beyond. And I think there, is a misguidance that, again, kids graduate from high school, they're 18, they're off to college or into more of an independent life, and we're done. Any of us adults know that it takes about 25 years to get off your parents' payroll, right? Whether that's insurance coverage or just some financial support or even just going to them for continued support and wisdom. If we're so lucky, they start to realize that maybe we have something to offer again. But in that interim period, adolescence, from a biological standpoint, stretches from the ages of 18 to somewhere between 24 and 26. And and the marker of the end of adolescence, at least in the case that I'm talking about today, is when that frontal cortex, that executive function, is fully formed and fully online, which means that our little chickens are ready to take flight with a fully formed brain and hopefully more informed decisions as they become more autonomous in their life. So think about your 5-year-old is 25. Think about, we're looking at divorce when our kids are, 10 and 15. Well, you still have another 10 to 15 years to go in your co-parenting, active co-parenting partnership, certainly through 18, but there's this afterglow period, that young adult 18 to 25-year-old. So as you're making decisions today, thinking, do we need to have a conversation about college financing now? Do we need to have a conversation about, who's claiming kids on taxes, how insurance is being covered? We can't predict everything in the future, but a lot of prevention in just having the conversation to know what each other is thinking so that there's not blind spots or assumptions down the road that catch you by surprise when you no longer have, if you will, the safety net and the guidance of your parenting plan, because it's now morphing into this next chapter. Your children still need a parenting plan. So think long term, all the way through their full launch. Once they've established their own first professional job, maybe they actually own the car that they're driving and are paying insurance on it, and maybe even starting their own long-term relationships and living independently, which means they buy their own groceries and gas all the time. It's a long journey, folks. Buckle in, keep taking note, keep joining me here on the Good Divorce Show. I am your good divorce coach, Karen McNenny. And remember, everything will be okay in the end. And if it's not okay, it's not the end.
Thanks for listening. Do you have questions or thoughts about this week's episode? Let us know by following the Good Divorce Coach on Facebook and Instagram at Good Divorce Coach, and leave a comment. And be sure to tune in every Monday at 10 a.m. Pacific or listen anytime wherever you get your podcasts.